Let's get into how it works. Each game you play is known as a raid. In each raid, you spawn in on one of 7 maps. After clicking Escape from Tarkov on the main menu, you choose from this screen what map you want to spawn into. The maps are Customs, where you'll be spending a majority of your time when first starting out. Interchange, a shopping mall where most supplies can be found. Woods, just as you'd expect, a large map of trees and not much else. Factory, the smallest map in the game, which is entirely indoors. Shoreline, a large open map, like Woods, with one central health resort complex where most of the fighting happens. Reserve, a military base, as of making this video the largest map in the game and probably the most profitable. And finally Labs, an entirely indoor map that requires a key card to access. Some other key items on this screen are the time. The time of day that you choose will dictate the light level. Playing at night is extremely dark in places in Tarkov, and you may need night vision or a flashlight just to be able to move around. The weather, rain, thunderstorms, and fog are all huge determinants in how a raid will go. When it's raining, it can be almost impossible to hear footsteps, and fog can make sniping nearly just as impossible. After selecting your raid, you're going to come to an insurance screen. Here you can select items and insure them with one of the vendors. This means that when you die, any insured items will be returned to you after some time. This is always worth it. Always insure everything. Even if you die to a player, chances are they won't be able to take everything, or they'll die, disconnect, or something else will screw them up, and you'll get a large chunk of your gear back. When all players are loaded, a countdown timer will initiate and you will spawn randomly in one of the set spawn points on the map. There are not players at every single spawn point, but they can spawn very close to you. It's not uncommon to run into someone only seconds after spawning in. Players can spawn in alone or in a squad with up to 5 players in one squad. When in a squad, you all spawn together next to each other, and raids will include both solo and squads in the same raid. Just because you're alone doesn't mean everyone else is. This means playing in a squad is almost always the safer option depending on who you're spawning with. Everybody has that dickhead friend. Your squad can always hide your gear in a bush so you get it back in insurance, so if you die and they live, they can take the gear off your body, throw it in a nearby bush so that no one finds it, and then you'll get it back the next day. There are no names above people's heads in this game, and for the most part everyone looks the same, so solid communication is pretty much necessary to prevent team killing. Most fights will happen right after spawning in. Players know these spawn points and they will push them very aggressively at the start of the game, so learning where other players might spawn and where they will go once the game starts is the #1 thing that will help increase your survival rate.